Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into the first law of the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene, Never Outshine the Master. This one's all about playing it smart when you're around people in power. I'm going to give you a detailed breakdown of this law, share historical examples from the book, and throw in some practical examples for your everyday life. Stick around until the end, because I'll also give you my thoughts on how to use this law wisely. Let's jump in. Alright, so what's this law about? In simple terms, never outshine the master means you should never make those in power feel inferior or threatened. The idea is that people in positions of authority, whether it's your boss, a mentor, or a leader, are often more insecure than you think. If you make them feel like they're losing their grip, or that you're a threat to their status, they might retaliate in ways you don't expect. History has shown us that the higher up people go, the more fragile their egos can become. Robert Greene explains this through several historical examples, and I'm going to walk you through the key ones in more detail. Example 1. Nicolas Fouquet and King Louis XIV. The first major example in the book is the story of Nicolas Fouquet, who was the finance minister for France under King Louis XIV. Now, Fouquet was a very ambitious man and loved to live lavishly. He had money, influence, and connections, but there was one big problem. Louis XIV was suspicious of him. He felt Fouquet might be too powerful and was worried that he could eventually outshine the king himself. Sensing this, Fouquet tried to win back the king's favor by throwing the most extravagant party France had ever seen. This wasn't just any party. It was held at his luxurious chateau, with entertainment, food, and fireworks that made Fouquet seem like a king in his own right. Fouquet thought this would impress Louis XIV and show him how loyal he was, but it backfired. Instead of being impressed, Louis XIV felt threatened. Fouquet's display of wealth and grandeur made him look more powerful than the king, and Louis wasn't having it. Shortly after the party, Louis XIV had Fouquet arrested for embezzlement. Fouquet was tried, convicted, and spent the rest of his life in prison. Lesson: Fouquet outshone the master, and he paid the price. By flaunting his wealth and power, he made the king feel insecure and pushed him into action. Example 2. Galileo Galilei and the Medicis. Another historical example comes from the life of Galileo Galilei, the famous scientist. Galileo needed financial support for his research and knew that he needed to attract powerful patrons. He wasn't just going to ask for money directly, though. That would be too risky. Instead, Galileo applied this very law and found a clever way to get what he wanted. When Galileo discovered the 4 moons of Jupiter, he named them after his powerful patrons, the Medici family, calling them the Medicean stars. By linking his scientific discoveries to the Medici family, he flattered their ego and made them feel like they were part of something grand. This move made the Medicis feel powerful and important, so they generously funded Galileo's work. Lesson: Galileo knew not to outshine the Medicis. Instead, he cleverly tied his success to theirs, making them feel like they were at the center of his discoveries. As a result, he secured the funding and support he needed. Practical examples. Now that we've seen how history's heavy hitters played the game, how do you apply this law in your own life? Let's look at 3 everyday examples. Workplace: you've been working hard and come up with an idea that could transform your department's workflow. Instead of dropping this bombshell in a big meeting and potentially making your boss look bad, go directly to your boss first. Pitch the idea as something you came up with to make them look good. Say, "Hey, I've been thinking and I've got this idea that could really help the team. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it." Let them present the idea as their own, or with your help in a way that doesn't challenge their authority. This way you still get credit, but avoid looking like a threat. Romantic relationships. In a relationship, no one likes to feel constantly overshadowed. Maybe you're really good at planning trips, but your partner is trying to organize a weekend getaway. Even if you know you could plan it better, let them take the lead sometimes. Give them space to shine and support them along the way. This creates a balance where both of you can feel important without stepping on each other's toes. Social relationships. In social circles, you might have a friend who's seen as the leader of the group. Even if you have better ideas or know more about certain topics, constantly proving them wrong or showing them up will create tension. Instead, let them have their moments and find ways to support their leadership without challenging it too directly. Alright, so now for my thoughts on this law. While never outshine the master is a great strategy for avoiding unnecessary conflict with people in power, it does come with a downside. If you're always holding yourself back to make others feel comfortable, you might never get the recognition you deserve. Over time, this can limit your growth. The trick is to find the balance. One way to do this is by shining in ways that benefit your masters. Make them look good while showing off your talents. Don't take the spotlight for yourself, but let them bask in the glow of your success. However, you should also know when it's time to step out of the shadows and claim what's yours. Be strategic about when to shine and when to step back. It's also worth considering the ethical implications of this law. It might feel manipulative, or even inauthentic to downplay your skills. But remember, this law isn't about lying or pretending to be less than you are. It's about reading the room and understanding when it's best to let others take the lead. So, what do you think? Is never outshine the master a smart move, or do you think it's too limiting? I want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and share this video with someone who needs to know how to play the power game. See you in the next one.